if you have made it this far on my journey as Ruth the Reader, you will know that I already loved the Narnia books, and I brought them over from Scotland with me to Canada. I also brought along The Hobbit, but how I found The Hobbit, which was a preliminary to J.R.R. Tolkien's masterworks, The Lord of the Rings, is another story. And I'd like to introduce you to Tolkien by telling you that one time I was in a lineup for a movie, because J.R.R. Tolkien had written The Lord of the Rings. This is the first of the 3 books, and I had eventually, I mean this took a long time to happen, I eventually found out that they were being made into movies, and of course I was scared stiff to go and see it, because my whole dream of these books, which are so wonderful, was so vivid that I was terrified that the movie would just be a disappointment. It was not. And when I was in the movie lineup once for the 3rd of these books, knowing that this film was going to be wonderful because the other 2 were, I'm standing in the lineup with these books. Now these are the copies that were produced in Britain, and I brought these with me also, the same as I did with the Narnia books. 3 heavy books, so you know I love them. Anyway, I'm standing in the lineup with my son, and we're talking about the series, and we're talking about various things, and I opened up the back and opened up also the maps that came with these books. And I don't know that all versions of the Tolkien books would have these maps, but we were standing there talking with this map open, and suddenly the whole lineup of people who were waiting to see the movie went, "Whoa, where did that come from?" I realized I was the privileged one. I had all these special assistances to help me with the books because I loved them so much. And I can tell you exactly when that was, because in the book I kept the movie ticket, Return of the King, Wednesday, December 17th, 2003. So that's a long time ago, but I've never lost my love for this series. And as I said, it began with The Hobbit, a children's story. Yes, definitely, a lovely story. But Tolkien was not done, and he moved on. And this is unquestionably a series for adults and a series for those who love fantasy and creation of worlds and characters that are unforgettable. These kind of books stay with you forever. So The Lord of the Rings has a simple introduction by Tolkien. I'll read it to you so you know what you're in for if you've never read it before. 3 rings for the elven kings under the sky. 7 for the dwarf lords in their halls of stone. 9 for mortal men doomed to die. 1 ring for the Dark Lord on his dark throne in the land of Mordor where the shadows lie. 1 ring to rule them all. 1 ring to find them. 1 ring to bring them all, and in the darkness bind them in the land of Mordor where the shadows lie. Well, that encompasses a great deal. That's why it's called The Lord of the Rings. And the ring, the original ring that's found in the story of Bilbo in The Hobbit, is of course key to the whole thing. So even when he wrote this, Tolkien must have had in his mind a much larger, a much wider, a much more ambitious story. And not only are these books incredible in themselves, but in the final book, The Return of the King, there's an appendix as well. In fact, there are appendices to give you even more detail, and he's written later books too into the detail to a level that most of us would never even aspire. So I love them, and I still love them, and I recommend them absolutely to anybody. But time goes on. That was a long time ago when the movies were made. But even after that, somebody with even more ambition, a man called Peter Jackson, decided he would try and do video interpretations. Now, in the video, he's got longer, and he is going wider. And he went all the way to New Zealand in order to shoot this video in the best possible circumstances. And it's glorious beyond belief. I love to go there because there is a little Hobbit village that was created for the making of the video. And you can actually go and visit it, but that's a long way away and I might never make it. Anyway, these videos and movies turned me into a fan. This is not my usual thing. I'm not usually a big fan of the commercial side of things, but this is the Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring Collector's DVD gift set. So you can send for some amazing things. And I did. I sent for the book stands, 2 of these, one either side of the books. Looks very good, and it is virtually the same thing as one of the major figures that are carved in the actual film and in the video. So that. And then I went further and I got a couple of bookmarks, Aragorn and Legolas. My goodness, not like me, but I love them anyway. And this is one of the Lord of the Rings trading cards. You can relax. I did not buy the trading cards. I just had this one. So I've loved them forever. And I hope that if they're new to you, or if you maybe you found this book and your kids enjoyed it, maybe you want to move further into the Lord of the Rings, I hugely recommend it. It's a masterwork, absolutely a masterwork. So we go from Bilbo here to Frodo, who is a tiny little insignificant creature who becomes the most important creature in an entire universe. So it's been a part of my life for a long time, and maybe I'm convincing somebody to try it. It's not simple, but oh my goodness, books and this kind of book take you into a whole other world. And there are times in life when you want to be out of this world, at least mentally, and you need, excuse me, you need the relief of an escape. This is what you want then. I think you'll love it.